Welcome to the Pregnancy Loss Podcast, the place I created for moms like us. Pregnancy loss is all-encompassing and creates an overarching theme that runs through our lives forever. We have to learn to live with and beside the grief of losing our baby. We have to learn how to live again, how to parent again, how to engage and interact and be social again, how to communicate effectively to connect with our spouses and significant others. We have to find who we are now. I'm here to empower and inspire you to live a life even with our unique circumstances. We cannot change what happened, but we can grow and use that strength and resilience to create a life that we love. I'm here to share everything I know about grief, motherhood, loss, marriage, friendship, and parenting. I'm here to encourage you to find the beautiful side of grief, the side where we don't have to isolate ourselves or suppress the need to share stories, the side where you have moms just like you to support and encourage you. The side where we become the best versions of ourselves, not in spite of our loss, but thanks to it. Pregnancy loss is devastating, but it can also be an opportunity to reflect on who we were and who we want to become. So join me every Tuesday for a new episode on the Pregnancy Loss Podcast. Let's jump in. Hey mamas, I wanted to share that October 1st, I am launching my pregnancy loss education course. This course is for birth professionals, so birth and postpartum doulas, lactation consultants, newborn care specialists, midwives, OBs, anybody in the perinatal professional field. This course will teach you how to support families like ours. Families that lose babies, and there's no support beyond that initial stay at the hospital when we're giving birth and a 6-week checkup. There's a huge gap that needs to be filled, and that is what this course is for. If you're interested in signing up, if you are a birth worker, I will put the link in the show notes, and also you can go to my website at www.vallenweb.com, and you can go to the birth professionals page, and there is a link just for the pregnancy loss education course. As always, I'm so happy you're here. Hey friend, I thought we would do something different today, and figured I would be a little vulnerable and share some things with you. And of course, I'd use an awesome title like 10 Things I'm Scared to Tell You. So the last years have been a journey of unbecoming and becoming at the same time. On one side, I'm shedding the lessons, memories, ideas, thoughts, feelings, and experiences that my family put on to me as a child. Like, who knew all this shit wasn't mine to hold on to? It took me almost 30 years to figure this out. No big deal. And then on the other side, I'm reading, learning, I'm creating the life that I truly wanted because I finally realized it was up to me and I got to choose. I get to decide. And I'm finally being and becoming the woman I always knew I would be, regardless of who I was and who my mother was. When we're kids, we're given these two people, or however many parents you have, that get to decide what we learn, what we're exposed to, who they'll allow near us, how they treat us. It's a pretty big deal. But I don't think our parents have the insight that we have now. So during that journey, which I can guarantee you is not and still is not the prettiest, I have lessons learned and things about me I didn't even know existed. So before you get bored and leave, here's 10 things I'm scared to tell you. And things I was kind of terrified to learn about myself, or at least acknowledge in myself. Number 1, I was a serious reactor, like nuclear, if you know what I mean. I reacted to everything and everyone, and it was such a toxic personality trait, and I hated it. I loathed it. I didn't like that about myself. I just didn't know how to change it. I didn't know I could change it. I didn't know it was mine to change. Well, now I'm in remission, and I still have episodes because, let's face it, I'm far from perfect, but mostly because I'm human. 2, I have an undiagnosed sensory processing disorder. Basically, I have a problem regulating responses to stimuli. I tend to withdraw or have strong negative responses. And this occurs from loud, overwhelming noises. Like, seriously, I have earplugs in the car and in the house because the sound echoes and it turns into overwhelm, sensory overload. And then that turns into anger because it physically just hurts. It's weird, isn't it? I thought this was normal my entire life until I went through this process with Violet and realized what was going on, and I saw it mirrored in me. Wow, like there's something here. So this ties into my reactor tendencies that I had because my kids' loudness, the screaming, yelling, talking over and over, like don't stop, it turns my overwhelm and my sensory overloads into anger, which I always thought was just totally common. And sometimes sometimes it is. Let's be real here. We're more parents, but I can tell that my flip switches and I need to calm myself, and that usually means getting into a quieter place or allowing the space I'm in to become quieter. Number 3, I used to be a mean girl, and I can't even believe it myself. And honestly, I was a really nice kid. I respected my elders. I was kind to most everyone. But I remember a few people I was never nice to, and I honestly have no idea why. And now that I have kids, I reflect a lot, and I get really sad that I would have hurt anyone just because or in any way, because that's not who I am now. I was a hurting teenager, and as most of us know, hurt teens tend to hurt others, and this blows. So I have been doing a lot of forgiving in myself because I can't change the past, but going forward, I can model to my kids how to be kind, and I can teach them how to not be hurtful by giving them an example of what not to do and why. I think it's really important for kids to see us as mistake makers and rule breakers, but also as fixers and helpers. Number 4, I was always just trying to fit in as a teen and a young adult. I had no sense of identity other than a party girl and a sorority girl. Everybody loved being around me because I was just unpredictable, and I was wild. And I had no sense of responsibility other than school, which I literally took not seriously at all. Um, I wish I had more of a compass back then. I wish I could have had somebody to help guide me, somebody who knew what the world held and could help me navigate all the emotions and experiences that come with it. Fitting in has its perks, but we get lost in the crowd and forget that we don't have to live that way. And I was lost there for a while. We can be different. We can pivot to do something else. School isn't always the answer. We can change our minds. How powerful is that statement, and why has no one ever told me that? Seriously. Number 5, I drank for nearly 5 years in a row. And 1 or 2 of those years was binge everyday drinking. And I was in a really bad state. It was terrible. And of course, I feel shame for numbing myself so much because my life was spiraling out of control. And I had no idea how to stop it. I was not a very good human in that space, and I said and did things I wish I could take back. I didn't like who I was becoming, and that was an obvious problem. And this is one of those things that I'm really still working on forgiving myself for. And I'm getting there, but I wish I could have loved me a bit more. Number 6, I love my mom, but she can no longer be a part of my life. And this one hurts my heart for obvious reasons because she refused to recognize the mental health issue within herself. And I had to cut her out of my life and my children's life for our safety. I cannot trust her around myself or my kids. And she made my life miserable as a young child and a teenager because she was so unhappy. It seemed like she hated everything about me, everything I did, and I used to hear her say the most terrible things about me behind my back to my dad. It just broke my spirit and made me realize how much hate she had for herself. And that, of course, made me sad and made me feel like it was my fault. And I gave her so many chances because, let's be honest, what girl doesn't want a mom who loves her and fills her up with love and all the good stuff? But I didn't get all the love and the good stuff. I got conditional. I got tit for tat. I got you owe me. And just so many messages that really hurt young girls. Number 7, my marriage is far from perfect, but it's worth 100% of the effort John and I put into it every day. We have had so many ups and downs, a lot of things that I haven't talked about yet with you guys, but especially obviously after Evelyn died and then a series of bad choices after. We went to therapy for almost a year and did a lot of work individually and separately. I don't think either of us have ever worked that hard or had that much hope. Marriage is not easy. It is not this beautiful thing that never breaks. But if you hold on through those breaks and work on both sides to nurture, support, and love each other, you can come out the other side, kicking life's ass together better than ever before. That's so true. Number 8, I don't have as many friends as I wish I did. I have some really sweet friends here where I am now, and I love them with all my heart. But I was always used to having so many friends, but I realized looking back that a lot of them were only there for the seasons, right? I just really want more friends. I want more close friends that I can call when I need them. I don't want distance to be such a problem. I don't want to not have somebody to call when I need them to, I need to go to an appointment or we need help watching each other's kids or, things like that. And having late night talks and get-togethers, it's hard as moms because we can't really leave the house at night. But, yeah. Number 9, and obviously the name of this podcast, I love talking about pregnancy loss and bringing awareness to it. And I will never feel sorry for that, and I will never feel sad about that, and I will keep doing it as long as I live. And number 10, I have a really hard time when people don't like me. Don't get me wrong, I have that whole fucking vibe because they ain't my people, they treat me wrong. But deep down, my wounded child just wants to be loved by everyone. And that has been a big part of my healing journey. Learning how to accepting to let things go when it's time, knowing when that time is, knowing that not everyone is for me, and that I will find my people. And if you feel this way, don't worry. Your people are out there waiting for you to discover them, just like mine are. Just make sure to use every opportunity that comes your way. You never know who or what you will find. Okay, that was a lot, I know. But I like sharing about me and I like learning about other people, and I figured you guys would love that. So I hope you have a beautiful week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening to the Pregnancy Loss Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I created a guide on 20 ways to celebrate your angel baby. It gives you 20 amazing ways to celebrate their birthdays or ways to just remember them on any given day. If you want to download it, head over to vallenweb.com/resources and click the link. I hope you guys have a great week. See you next time.